Hi, my name is Ellie Mitchell. I'm a Murri woman from the Kalkadoon people of Mount Isa region in Queensland. Currently residing in Brisbane with my partner, Chris, my 5-year-old son Uriah and my 3-year-old daughter Alexis. We moved here from Darwin to seek more support and guidance since the diagnosis of autism with our son Uriah. Uriah is the light of our life. The way he is able to look at life from another angle is such a special gift. Through the happiness he has taught me, I want to be more like him. As an infant, I never noticed major signs of autism. As being my firstborn, I didn't know what to expect of a newborn child as well as what autism was. But I did notice my son seemed very clingy, especially during his car rides. From what I can remember, it seemed as though I was always there helping calm my baby boy while he screamed every car ride. Even after a long car trip, in hope that he might calm and start to get used to the drive, he would always seem very unsettled. A new face was even enough to give him grief, with his instant reaction to strip down and throw his nappy or throw the closest object in his reach. I can remember going to family barbecues and Uriah being very clingy, like a baby koala, closing his eyes as though he was frightened. I was always there to give him cuddles with a blanket nearby to cover his face, which always seemed to calm him. But it did seem very odd, as there were family and friends, people he was very familiar with. Although he had what seemed to be tantrums, Uriah did show me some amazing skills that I never thought to see a toddler do at such a young and innocent and fragile stage, such as trying to read a book by flicking through the pages in his nappy, barely even able to walk, but happily entertaining himself. He was so amazed at the flow of the pages as they flicked over. And there were days where he would be so determined to drag the hose over to the dirt, carefully turn on the tap, while watching the water drizzle out and roll over the dirt while it changed into wet, sticky mud. He would always do something new that would sit back and enjoy how his little mind would try and solve an issue or discover new types of play in an amazing and special way. Especially when I had him doing puzzles at 8 months old and solving them so quickly that he would smack it aside as if it was too boring and easy. I guess it wasn't until he turned 11 months old when I really started to worry for my son, as his eating dramatically changed from eating whatever I'd serve him to then having a specific taste to crunchy textured foods, with the exception of dairy milk chocolates and milk. This was hard for me to understand, as I thoroughly enjoyed preparing his puree foods and getting him ready for his solids, to then have every meal thrown at me or to watch him gag at just the sight of it. I couldn't even bribe him with ice cream or jelly. He hated the look of it and the touch of it. Being a new mum without having friends with kids of their own, I tried my best to join along with family playgroups to get Uriah more involved with other children and enjoying musical activities. Uriah showed a lot of interest at home with music and what I would call destructive play, as he would push all the toys around into a huge pile and move them around the room. He never seemed to play in a functional way, but rather to feed all the toys through peepholes and tight spaces. After enjoying watching him recite movies from word for word and singing and dancing to his shows, I thought he would enjoy being social with other children. But our social play dates came to a quick end after noticing Uriah did not seem himself and would rather happily play on his own. It seemed as being home was the only option that would make Uriah comfortable and calm. Playgroups or family outings would never seem to go as I would like them to have been. Uriah simply enjoyed the easygoing comfort nature of home. He was always such a busy little boy, enjoying mostly playing on his own. His favourite activities would be to play in the sand and shuffling mounds of random toys around the house. He loved to watch the toys race down the cart ramps. His toys never seemed to move in the way of their purpose, such as the cow's moo and the drinks water, or the car drives, but more to be moved as a whole. At times, he would have a favourite toy that he would hold in his hand all day long and sometimes even fall asleep with it. Not always it would be a toy. Many times it would be a rock that he would transfer from his pocket to his hand, sometimes secretly to his mouth. what seemed to have been the longest year, especially with me falling pregnant when Uriah was only 6 months old, I really started to think it may have been something a little more than what I thought it was once my daughter Alexis was born. Having a sibling for Uriah felt like the best thing, knowing he would have someone there for him to play and grow with. It gave me a safe and happy feeling. But Uriah didn't exactly do what I expected he would. As Alexis got older and was now starting to crawl, Uriah would walk straight past her and at times barely even look at her. He always seemed to play next to her, but not with her, with most of the times taking her toys away from her. It really was something very new to me, and it was then I knew my son was autistic. Without seeing a specialist or having him assessed, I just knew with the motherly instinct that Uriah was on the spectrum. And I was really happy that for once, I actually felt like I finally understood my baby. I was very excited to meet with our regular home visit nurse to discuss my findings, as I had mentioned things in the past, but never really talked deeply, as we both just thought he may be developing slower in certain areas, or he was just still being a baby. Being nonverbal at 1.5 did make me wonder, but I was assured by family and friends that he would talk when he's ready. Discovering this magical finding made me feel like the greatest mum, knowing that I finally understood my son. Now it was just the task of what to do from here and what help can I get to give him everything he deserves.